Hi and welcome back. So 4 years of My NMN Experiment has rolled around quite quickly indeed. Today I'm going to cover February, March and April of 2023 and see how they stack up against previous quarters. I'm also testing out a new microphone, so let me know in the comments below if the microphone sounds good to you, if you can tell the difference between previous videos, or have I just wasted my money? Let's jump into it. So as I said, this will be a review of my stats for February, March and April of 2023, which also marks the end of my 4-year point on this experiment. So I'm recording this right at the end of April, and I'll post it at the beginning of May. I'm also retiring to the Philippines at the end of May, so it's going to be interesting to see how this review compares to the next one, because there are going to be some massive changes in my daily routine, definitely my diet, and also my exercise schedule. So let's get into this 4-year review. Let's quickly go through the supplements I was taking for the last 3 months. 1.5 grams of NMN a day. I take 1 gram of trans resveratrol only on the days that I don't train. I take 500 milligrams of Metformin, and that's at night. 1.5 grams of TMG, trimethylglycine. I also take 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 and 10,000 on a Sunday and a Thursday. 120 micrograms of vitamin K2, and that's the MK7 version. I take 250 milligrams of magnesium, L-threonate version, 200 milligrams of hyaluronic acid, that's a high molecular weight hyaluronic acid, 2.4 grams of fisetin a day on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of each month, and 2.4 grams of quercetin a day on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of each month. And there's a link in the description below as to why I only take this sporadically and I don't take it every day. I also take the Cert6 activator from donorage.org and 400 milligrams a day of that. And I take DIM 600 milligrams per day. As I think I said in a previous video, I've now started taking all my supplements around 6:30 in the morning. My DIM is split into 3 doses, 200 at 6 in the morning, 200 at noon, and then 200 at night when I take my Metformin. And I still only take my resveratrol on the days I don't train, which is usually 2 or 3 days, sometimes 4 days a week. And I have that mixed into my high-fat yogurt, and I also include that with 1 tablespoon of parsley. And I'm now eating that yogurt again somewhere between 6 and 8 at night. So that's it for my supplements. Okay, let's move on to diet and fasting. First of all, let's look at fasting. As normal, 8 p.m. at night till noon the next day, so a 16-8 fast. That's every day during the weekend. A little update on that in just a second. On the weekends, it's 8 again till midday. Sometimes I'll break it between 9 and midday if I've headed down to the coffee shop. I'm having my normal coffee in the coffee club. I may also have a 3-egg omelette or something like that. Now, I've also started to investigate OMAD, or 24-hour fast. It's difficult to work out exactly what it is because lots of people call it lots of different things. So I'm doing that on a Tuesday and a Thursday. It kind of rotates around. If I finish if I finish eating on a Monday at 8 o'clock at night, where I would normally then on a Tuesday break my fast at midday, I don't. I push that out until 8 o'clock the following evening. It's going quite well at the moment. It's 2 days a week. I've only been doing it, I think this is the 3rd week I've been doing it. I still take my supplements the first thing in the morning, and there'll be the critics here that say, well, you've already broken your fast if you've taken supplements at 6 in the morning. No, so be it. I'm not going to not go a whole day without taking my supplements and taking them at 8 o'clock at night and then 6 o'clock the next morning. That doesn't make sense to me. So it's going quite well. Probably around 5 or 6 in the afternoon, I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry, but I think that's more down to habit, because if I have a nice cup of coffee or do some work on the computer or listen to some music, I tend to be able to push it out until the 8 o'clock, which is the 24-hour mark. I may also look at in the future doing this 3 or 4 days a week, and I may even go to a 48-hour fast if I think I'm up to it, but we'll wait and see how that goes. So diet, normally lunch is still yogurt and parsley, and if I'm not having the yogurt because I'm going to eat that later, then the resveratrol is also in the yogurt. Afternoon snacks, if it's not an OMAD day, it's still nuts and a berry shake. And if it's my nuts, I normally sprinkle onto that my Himalayan rock salt as well. And then for dinner, it's meat or fish and cruciferous vegetables. Not as much fish as I used to have. My last blood test shows my uric levels are creeping up slowly, and the doctor thinks that might be the reason. I used to eat 3 or 4 times a week fish because it's easy to steam, it's easy to eat. So I've cut that down now to 2 or 3 times a week, and we'll have to wait and see how that pans out on my next blood test, which I will take probably the day before I fly, and then I've got 3 months in the Philippines to try and find out somewhere that will be able to produce very similar blood test results, or take the same blood test results I'm getting here, so I keep the experiment on a stable footing. Alcohol, normally buying wine and beer, and again only one night a week. That said, the place where I get my beer is, I normally like the British kind of heavy beers, the stouts, the Guinnesses, McCaffrey's. They haven't had it for a long time, so I'm not going to buy beer just for the sake of buying beer and drinking the swill that is lager. So I've been sticking to white wine and red wine, and it's probably been 1 or 2 glasses on a Friday night, and that's been it. So that's it for my diet and fasting. So overall feeling, first of all, my energy levels, I say for the 60% of the last 3 months, it has been as normal, high and steady. But if you remember in January when I did my last review, I had a throat infection. I said I was over it in about a week and everyone else around me was sick. This wasn't the case. Just after I made that review, I then went to see the doctor again and said, I'm not feeling 100%. I'm not performing in the gym as well as I did. She looked up my nose, down my throat and in my ears and said, yes, you've got some kind of infection. I took a blood test to find out what that was. Although I didn't feel sick, it was just I didn't feel 100%. My gym performance was really suffering. The other thing I noticed was my resting heart rate, and I'll put some screenshots up here. It's normally between 55 and 66. I've highlighted there in green the resting heart rate scores. You can see on the 10th of March, which is not so long ago, it's back to the normal 55 to 60. But if you look at the one on the right, which I took at the end of January, it's 72, and it was over 70 for quite a few days, and it's nowhere near 70. I think if I've had a bad night's sleep and I maybe had two or three glasses of wine, it goes up into the mid 60s. It's never been up near 70. So that's now back to normal, as is my resting heart rate. So I'm glad that's gone. So my energy levels now back to high and steady. So other areas of my overall feeling, napping. I did nap a few times over the last couple of months. That's when I had the throat infection. Before the throat infection, and then after it, no napping at all in the afternoon. No need. I'm still getting a good between 7 and 8 hours sleep per night. Motivation. My motivation has remained high and steady as normal. Although I was motivated to go to the gym, I didn't perform as well when I had that throat infection. Moving on to gym performance then. So CrossFit still twice a week, about an hour on a Monday and on a Wednesday, and then the one weight training session on a Friday, which is around 40 to 50 minutes. And then one, sometimes two, fairly intense cycling sessions on a Saturday and or on a Sunday. Injuries, no new injuries. The physio that I had on my shoulder when I was power snatching at CrossFit sorted the problem out. That's all gone now, nothing at all. And then sickness, apart from what I mentioned with the throat infection, which did kind of knock me out for about 4 weeks, and affected my ability to perform in the gym and also my resting heart rate. I'd say for 60%, the last 60% of the last 3 months, I think I've been absolutely fine. So that's it for my overall feeling. So let's move on to my more objective stats. First of all, my weight. That's gone up from 90.5 to 91.2, so up 0.7 kilos. That's 1.5 pounds. That's since the last check. But it's still down 1.17 pounds. That's 0.8 of a kilo since the start. My BMI, that has remained the same. So that's down 0.5 since the last check. And you'll know that still has me in technically what they call the overweight category. And if you watch the channel, you'll also know that I hold no stock whatsoever in this antiquated system. I prefer to go with the measuring your waist and that being at least half of your height. Percentage body fat, that's gone from 26.6 to 26.4, so that's down 0.2 since the last check and is down 0.1 since the start. My muscle mass, you can see there, has gone from 33.6 to 33.5, so that's down 0.1 since the last check. And it's what it was at the start. I think this is because my muscle mass, I was going to the gym 3-4 days a week and lifting fairly heavy weights and not doing a lot of cardio. Whereas now with CrossFit, I'm still lifting weights per se, but it's not the intensity, it's not to build muscle. So that said, the muscle I have got, I've noticed, is a lot more functional. So when it comes to getting up and down, walking upstairs, my leg muscles are far more functional than they used to be, having now done CrossFit for quite a while, than they were when I was just doing leg raises and calf raises and things like that in the gym. My basal metabolic rate has gone from 1832 to 1838. That's up since the last check. That's probably because my body weight has got up and I need more calories to just maintain all the bodily functions. Visceral fat, that's got no change. I think although all measuring devices are going to be flawed, whether that's your fitness tracker or the biometric scales I use, it's a good measure. This is probably the only thing I'm not happy with is it only gives you one number, and I don't know if visceral fat can be measured in 13 point something, but it's remained 13 for the last nearly year now. It seems strange that it's not 30, because it could be 13.9 or it could be 13.1, and I think that's quite a big difference. It's strange that it doesn't do smaller variations or smaller increments. My waist size is 36. That said, if I'd have breathed in a bit and pushed the tape a bit tighter, I probably could have got 35.5. So I'm not going to do that. I'll stick it at 36 for now. I know I'm going to lose fatter on my waist when I go to the Philippines, because I do wake up in the morning and go for a walk in the morning. That's when I'm on vacation. I'm going there to semi-retire now. I'm probably going to carry on doing the same thing. And on the days that I don't train, I normally go, this is when I'm on vacation, but I'm going to try and do this. I normally go for a run and a walk, which is probably about 45 minutes. So I'll be doing that 2 or 3 times a week. And I get far more exercise or far more benefit from doing that than the 2 bike rides I do a week at the moment. So no change from the last time, but down 3 inches from the start. Sleep, you can see here, if I scroll to the top, I will scroll down slowly. So if you want to freeze this at any point, you can. So you can check the scores over the last 4 years. But you can see here the averages. My overall average for the 3 months has been between 7 hours and 10 and 7 hours and 21, which is good. My light sleep is between 4 hours 32 and 4 hours 47. My deep sleep, which is important, over 1 hour, which is what I'm trying to do, is I just want my deep sleep to be over an hour a night. It's between 1 hour 23 and 1 hour 32, which I think is good. And REM sleep, again, which is also very important. I'd like this to be over an hour too. That's between 1 hour and 1 and 1 hour 14, which is good. That's where I wanted to be with regard to sleep. My rested heart rate, this did take a hit when I had that throat infection. You can see for February the average was 65, and it's normally under 60. March was 59.5, starting to come down again, and then April was 59.75. So the average for the quarter is 61.08, which for someone of my age who's now 59 is still excellent. So 57 to 61 still has been the excellent range, although 61.08 is over 61, but I'm gonna round down. So I would have been, if you think I've been incorrect doing that, you can call me great as opposed to excellent. I'm not particularly bothered about that. So the next one I do now is grip strength. So in April it was 97.8 for my left hand, and it was 110.8 for my right hand. If you're only going to measure one, this is there's lots of these charts around. This is one which fits on the screen nicely. All the numbers are roughly the same. For someone who's aged between 55 and 59, which is me, anything more than 106.7 is classed as strong, so I'm happy that they've got me down as strong. The next metric I've started to add is my steps, because I've done quite a few reviews now of scientific studies, albeit epidemiological, that have come out with step counts for the day, and the average seems to be between 4,000 and 6,000. So I've reset my step meter to 5,000 steps a day. And these all show benefits for overall mortality, cardiovascular disease, dementia, things like that. Nowhere in these studies do they talk about 10,000 steps, which is what most fitness trackers are set to. Because if you watch my previous videos, you'll know that 10,000 steps is not based in science whatsoever. It's a marketing gimmick. So you can see there that for February, March and April, it was between 4,600 and 5,500, which gives me an average quarter for 5,324, which is where I wanted to be. I know that this is definitely going to go up when I semi-retire the Philippines, because I'll be doing a lot more walking around. In the Middle East, everything's spread out, so you tend to have to drive everywhere. From my house, go into the gym, go and walk in the, when I buy the dog, I'm going to buy a dog, walk in the dog, and the runs in the morning. Also going to visit family, they tend to be fairly close, so it's a lot more steps. I think my step average will go up quite a lot when it comes to the next quarterly workout. So that's it for my objective stats. Well, that's it for the 4-year review. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd be interested to see your comments. I'm very happy with the progress I'm making. Comparing myself to my unofficial control group, I'm either staying fairly steady or I'm moving in the right direction, whereas the vast majority of those are not staying steady and they're moving in the wrong direction. As well as that, I've got friends from when I was in the military, much the same age as me. I've lost a couple over the last 4 years, mainly to age-related diseases such as diabetes and also heart disease, which is sad. There is something people can do about it, but it does take quite a lot of willpower. I'll tell you that it's not easy doing the same thing every day and cutting out the things that I used to really enjoy. This is also a bit of a watershed moment. I started this experiment 4 years ago when I was working and living in the Middle East. In 20-something days, I'm going to be moving back to I'm going to be moving to the Philippines, semi-retiring, which I think is a good thing because I'll be able to spend more time on my health and wellness and this longevity experiment. I've been kind of shackled while I've been here in the Middle East, although it's been fantastic because I've had to wake up and be in work by 7, and then I can't go to the gym until maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and that's for 5 days a week. Whereas now when I semi-retire, I can pretty much select what I do and when I do it. So I can wake up in the morning, I can get sunlight, I can go for exercise in the morning, I can drink coffee, and then I can fast as long as I want. I can then spend most of the day when I'd normally be at work, I could be reading longevity related articles and looking into health and wellness. I will also then be able to go to bed at a decent time, having done plenty of research, whereas now I have to make sure I'm in bed at 10, even though I haven't got all the work done I wanted to do. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get my between 7 and 8 hours sleeping. So I'm looking forward to the next stage because I think I'm going to be able to focus far more on longevity and health and well-being. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the new speaker system. Let me know if you can tell the difference with the new microphone I purchased. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. The next NMN experiment video is going to be my blood test. That'll be in about 3 months' time. I'm going to have to search out a hospital in the Philippines that's going to be able to supply me with the same kind of blood markers that I've been used to recording. If I can't, I'll get as many as I can. There may even be more that I'm not recording here that will be available there. Time will tell. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. As always, please take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.